Hey everybody, Dennis from Ace Boas coming at you today. And today we have this beautiful, I'll give you a quick story in this. Once again, boas just for focus. We're going to go over each and every boa I own, eventually, one by one, how I take care of them, what the preferred temps are, etc., etc. But just a quick rundown on this boa. I got it from Vanessa Crutchfield. Story goes, I guess she said her and her dad were together, and when these piles of proos came in, and they both liked it and thought it was a special boa, and she ended up selling her, and I ended up buying her, and I got to tell you, I'm lucky and I feel impressed. It's a beautiful boa. I'm sure it originated from Boas Peru's before any crazy rumors started. Oh man, someone's bringing Peru's in. And they do bring them in. They're probably all from Boas Peru. Either way, it's an absolute beautiful boa, and the colors on this thing is just absolutely stunning. Everything's stunning about it. It's got that beautiful golden yellows and all that. Well, anyway, we're about a minute in, so that brings me to what this week is going to be about. This video, I do a lot more than one video a week as a recent. First and foremost, please, if you like my videos, please subscribe, support, and like. I could use it, and again, this channel's never going anywhere huge. It's raw and organic, and it's going to stay that way. So it's never going to be commercialized. I'm always here. Any comments? Just ask. Ask a question. I'll answer it. As you also know, I have a very big presence in other spots on elsewhere online. You can always ask me there too. So this week, let's start with it. Right, this week is all about your breeder. What to look for in a breeder, right? And there's certain things I think you should look for in any breeder. The first thing I would start with is, I would say the very first thing is, before you maybe even contact them, hopefully have a way of seeing your animals. Are their animals look well kept, well fed, healthy? They look legitimate. They look like what the bloodline should look like, or not bloodline, I shouldn't say, the locality. In other words, like if I held this animal up and told you it was a Sigma, or a Tarahumara, I would probably not pick me to buy from. Because this is obviously not a Tarahumara. Once again, this is a beautiful Peruvian boa. Health, right? It spoke about health. This isn't overfed. It isn't underfed. I would call this a boa in perfect condition for its age, which is probably about 2 years old, I would say, 2.5. Another thing I would look for right away is I would definitely try some communication. I wouldn't just come up front and buy the boa, right? Because it's funny how all of a sudden you get a lot of communication out of somebody for an hour or two. You commit to a boa, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't get a question answered. Well, that's not good. That's definitely not somebody or someone I would purchase from. Communication is very important. After you purchase these boas, especially locality boas, there's going to be a lot of questions. You may run into defecation issues, feeding issues, God forbid mites, RI. How should I heat them? What should I heat them with? Which we're going to cover. We're going to cover all that in future videos too. We're going to cover everything on this channel. Straight up cover it, with the best knowledge I have, holding nothing back. But if you buy a locality boa or any boa, and there's no one there to answer these questions for you, it becomes tough, because you need support. Some people, it's their first boa. They don't know any of this stuff. And if you just sell and go, I mean, to me, it kind of says something about the seller too. If you just sell and go, do you really care for the animals? Is it really a hobby for you? Or is there other reasons involved? Like what you got in the other hand, which is the coin for the animal. And if that's the case, that's a crime in itself, in my opinion. But, so that's another thing I would check. Maybe I would ask to see some pictures of the litter, to make sure it is, if they bred it, to make sure you maybe can see the parents with the litter. Make sure they say what it is, it is. That might be a way to confirm it. Online, right? Where we are right now online. Go online. Facebook, Instagram, ask. Hey, how is Joe Schmo? Is Joe Schmo a good breeder? Does Joe Schmo stand by his product? Ask these questions out. Once again, this ain't about me, this video. This is just about breeders in general, the stuff that I would look at. There's many good breeders out there. Hey, I got nothing to hide. I'll throw out names right on here. I mean, all right, we know Vin is a great breeder. There's a name, right? It ain't all about me. It's about in general, And I'm sure there's some stuff out there that some people may disagree with when I throw a name out, but that's okay too, you know. I can tell you, for me personally, I've never had a bad review online. And if anyone knows of one, I'd love to hear about it. I don't think there is any. I think you'd be hard pressed to find one. I stand by my animals. There was just a recent situation, unfortunately, with somebody who was wrong. Thank God they were wrong on something that happened with one of their animals. And I kind of thought maybe it was just from drinking water, and it was. And this animal, I don't know, they had to have it at least a year now, if not over. And their heart would have been broken. I mean, this is a great keeper I'm talking about here. I'm not going to bring up the name. But just shows you what I look for in a breeder and what I believe a breeder should be about. And I could tell they would have been so brokenhearted that I said, you know what, if something happens to the animal, I'm going to replace it for you. And how I know they were so in love, like something happened to the animal, I don't know what I'd do, I'd be so heartbroken. It's not about that. And I get that. But I'm telling you, it'd be far-fetched to find a breeder after a year to give that offer. That's how much I stand by these animals. You know, I have hundreds of these sold over the years, meaning BCC. And I can think of two, and both which admitted their fault. One person went and did some time, unfortunately, and a bad thing happened to the animal. And the other one, we won't even get into what happened to that one. That was caused by another animal, is how that one had its ending. Once again, in both cases, if keeping was correct, it would have never happened. So, you know, again, ask your breeder, hey, what kind of cage should I use as a baby? Is a tub okay? How about aquariums? Ask all these questions and see what their feelings are on them. Me personally, I'm not an aquarium fan, but I also understand we all started somewhere. And if that's what you're forced to use, maybe there's a way I could help you, you know, do the best you could in that situation. But the ultimate goal there would be to get it out there as quickly as you can. And my first advice would be save up for a different type of environment for the animal. But anyhow, I do have a pair of Peruvians going this year, by the way. That's even nicer than this one. And this one's pretty damn nice. This one's gorgeous, actually, in my mind. But you know, use online, ask around, make sure just because somebody has a name, rather be me or anyone else, again, just because somebody has a name means nothing. Dig a little deeper. You know, this is a commitment for you, for your hobby. It's very important that you pick up a healthy animal. It's very important that you have a breeder that's going to stand by you when needed the most. And usually when needed the most is long after the transaction. So that's the part you got to keep in mind. It's a very important part. It's usually long after the transaction. And, you know, people build their reputations. You'll know who's who by just asking around. And with that, it was short and brief today, but, you know, who knows what we're going to cover in a few more days. There will be another one. And eventually I'm going to go through all these animals one by one. I mean, I'm underneath horrible kitchen lighting, as you see here. Once again, there will be no fancy on this channel. I promise you that. And I'm going to stick to that. But I will get these animals outside when the weather's nice, and that's when we'll start breaking down each and every animal and how I keep them and, you know, how I breed them and other stuff, where I can really go over them and see the true colors. As beautiful as this looks, it's ain't nothing. You should see this thing out in the sun, out in the regular daylight. So with that, hey, again, please support, please subscribe, and I thank you so much for all the support you give me through the last 20 years. Over and out, Ace Boas.